I've just spent maybe 3 hours with the technology department at the College of New Jersey, and obviously everybody is trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to figure out ways that we can talk live one-on-one to everyone that's in our class. And I have to say, it's challenging. It is really challenging. I'm back to a YouTube video, which hopefully I'll be able to upload, and you'll be able to see. In Canvas, on the left-hand side, is something called conferencing. We're going to try that first. So I do realize that you are 11 hours ahead of me, so I really will probably go online more like 10 o'clock, because that would be, if I went on at 9, it would be 8 a.m. for you. So I will be on at 9, and I will stay on till 11 or 12 so that we can at least talk to each other a little bit. And I just want you to know that this has been as much of a challenge for me as it has been for you, since most of you are also going online right now to your students. And so we can share ideas. I'd be absolutely delighted to share ideas. I did download the Zoom app. And I also talked to the tech person at TCNJ about using not Hangout, but Meet. Because Hangout, he said, is kind of defunct, and it only will allow me to talk to 5 people at a time. So I can try also to do the Google Meet. But the first thing I'm going to do is go online tonight at 9, 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm going to try the conferencing through the TCNJ website, which means that you go into Canvas and you look on the left and go down to conferences. And maybe that will work. I have absolutely no way of knowing. If that doesn't work, however, I will be going over to my Gmail account and opening something called Meet. And we're going to try that as the second way to talk to each other. It's going to be frustrating. I know. I'm already frustrated. Honestly, I'm becoming a techie who's not really a techie. And it's going to be a little difficult. So I'm going to ask everybody to have patience with me, and I will have patience with you. The start date of the class is the same time that was originally scheduled, and I'm still trying to get clarification as to whether or not they've extended the class a little bit. I did receive one notice that there might be some flexibility at the end of the course. So right now, this is the way the course will run. The very first day, hopefully, we will have the opportunity to talk to each other. Regardless, you will be looking at this video, and you will also be looking at the history of special education and looking at the ADA and the IDEA, and then breaking off into groups, let's say groups of 3, and talking about how the IEP that is listed conforms to the IDEA in the United States. Now, it's often students will say, well, why do I have to learn the curriculum in New Jersey? Or why do I have to learn the federal law in the United States? Your certification is coming from the United States. And basically, I have to tell you, the global IEPs that I have seen, and I don't have any samples for you, unfortunately, they are similar. They go over the same amount of special education requirements. So they're very similar. So in our course today, we're going to start out with the history. And today you'll be getting that. And then we're also going to be looking at setting up projects. Now the projects are going to be group projects. The way the grading will work is 25% will come off the discussion board. 25% will be in group project 1. 25% will be in group project 2. And 25% will be the end of the course test, which will be open book and open notes. Now, when you do start out with the first grouping, which would be group 1, it's going to be talking about disabilities in general, and each of you will be joining a group to research one particular disability. And then you're going to present your disability information to the other group. Any way you want to do it, you can do it. You can do it with a PowerPoint. You can do it with YouTube. You can do it, I'm sure you have more creative ways than I do. You can do it any way that we can see your presentation. So that will occur over the first weekend and through the first week. And what I'm doing is, instead of meeting on those weekdays, I'm going to let you meet yourselves on those weekdays and work on your projects, because there's really a lot to complete. So you'll do your disability. Let's say you have ADHD, and that's your grouping. You and your partners will work together, and you can do it on Google Drive. You can do different sections of it, but you're going to research that disability. You're going to look at the causes of it. You're going to look at how prevalent it is, and whether or not what you might see in a classroom, what that child might look like. And again, that I want to caution you, that same thing I cautioned you before. Children who have English as their second language often look like they're inattentive, or often look like they're cognitively impaired, because they just don't know the language yet. They're not at that developmental stage. So just keep in mind, as a cautionary kind of thing, that that's a piece of it. The first week then will be project one, and you're going to be, after you do the history part, you're going to be working on that project with your partners, and you're going to present. On that second weekend, at the very beginning of that Saturday, the presentations should already have been uploaded or downloaded into Canvas underneath that particular disability, and you should be able to load it in so that everybody will be able to see it, and also put it on the discussion board. That way everyone will be able to see it. And we're doing peer reviews, so my goal is that everyone will read everyone's presentation. This is very important because the test is going to be on all of the disabilities. So just make sure you know what they're talking about as well. Then the second project, which again is going to be a big piece of it, will be that you are going to take different disability grouping and the presentation, obviously, that somebody else has done. So you'll have information, background information on that disability. And then I want you to write a position with your group about strategies and ways to include those children in your classes in a general ed class of special needs children. So let's say we have an autistic child. How would you include that child? Obviously, you'd have to know the start information. You have to know the developmental levels and exactly how the disability affects him. But then, how would you make that child successful in your class? Would you use things like accommodations? Would you modify the instructional curriculum? Probably. Would you modify the way you test a child? Probably. Would you modify the objectives that you have for that child? Probably. And how would you make that child feel successful? Because that's the most important thing, because success breeds success. So hopefully we're going to be able to get online, but I want to just caution everyone and say, if we can't get online, we'll work this way. There's always a way to work around it. And I have a feeling that a couple of you may be pretty good at technology, so you might be leading the pack. Now, the other piece I want to share with you is I think I set the assignments up so that you can choose which disability on the projects. And I think it's first come, first serve. But I may have to change it around because I'm not sure exactly whether or not I did it correctly, and it might limit the number. And it also, I believe, in some of the assignments, we'll actually set a peer leader in the group that will be in charge. But if you run into problems, email me or text me, and I will get on that immediately. There will be problems. There are always problems with technology. I've learned that a long time ago. It just happens. And now that everybody's using technology to teach, I'm sure the internet is going to be absolutely bombarded with a slower movement just because of the quantity of people who are teaching from home. So we're going to try it. Wish me luck. I'm going to wish you luck. And hopefully we'll be talking to each other. Just hope. But we'll be prepared either way. Just want you to know what you have to do for this Saturday. I want you to know how you're going to go about finishing your first day successfully. Looking at the ADA, looking at the my video on the history, looking at the IDEA law, and looking at an IEP. So that would be your goal for today. It's a lot of work, and I know I'm giving you a lot, but I'm also going to give you during the week to prepare your presentations and to do lots of other things. So I'm giving you in-class time to work as well. And hopefully this will all work. As always, I'm here for you. I know it's been a tough time. It's a tough time here as well. And I appreciate your patience. Just write to me with any issues, and I will definitely try to help you even further. Great talking to you, and let me see if I can end this stream.